go for the various reasons that currently exist.
So they would work with the current,
Of like a ESC type position.
okay, thank you.
But she does still run the BPA program, right?
I believe so.
PBDA.
No, the Business Professionals of America, that she does a trip and takes them. We'll check on that. It's
My
BPA,
understanding, yeah, I haven't
Business
heard anything change on
Professionals
that.
of- She's come before multiple times. Yep, for a trip. And they go to all these competitions and then for different categories, if that is. Yep, yep, yep. Mm-hmm, yep. Okay.
I have a couple questions. One is, where do we stand on, we're hearing some districts have teacher shortages, some don't. So where do we stand? What are the critical positions and what are we doing to somehow fill those positions?
I would love to know where the ones are that don't have a bit of a shortage and what their secret is. But no, we're no different than a lot of our urban education network partners around the state. So we started the school year with 8 elementary vacancies. To shore that up, we made 3 transfers from other buildings. We consolidated some sections at buildings based on class sizes. We did have to increase some class sizes and sections, and then that also means that for those that were increased, we had to cap some class sizes too. So elementary-wise, if we started with 8 and we've made some moves to try and shore that up. If I could have 3 to 5 of those as new teachers coming in, I would love that. But all of that to say, I think we're going to be okay. It's not ideal, but kind of is what it is these days. Middle school, we have 7 current vacancies. A lot of those are being filled by long-term subs at the moment. High school has 5 across the district. We have got 3 ELL around the district, and this is kind of a rough estimate, but 23 special education teacher vacancies. So that's the critical part that's hurting us the most, but that is no different than any other district in the state right now in terms of special education teachers.
So what are we doing to address that? I mean, obviously that's creating voids in buildings.
Yeah, I think a lot of it means roster sizes are going up. It could mean that we hire a few extra paraeducators for more support for those large roster sizes, and then do some adjusting with schedules of teachers and whatnot. We are currently talking about ways to compensate teachers who have taken on extra large roster sizes this year. So we met about it last week. We're probably going to be meeting again about it again at the end of this week or early next week to try and figure out what we can do to make sure they're compensated. So in terms of the special ed delivery, I'm not sure on exactly all the specifics of how that goes, but if you wanted some more information on that, we could invite Megan Allen, our special ed director, to a future meeting, or I could get some questions her way and get them answered for you.
One thing I did want to highlight, and I had emailed this group about a week ago, is we did have I guess, an all-hands-on-deck staffing meeting probably about 10 days ago with all of our key directors, Anthony, and then Sam, our Associate Director of HR. And we said, you heard the number, the 20-plus special ed teachers, like, they're just not out there. They are, I mean, I feel like we've turned over every rock, shook every tree looking for special ed teachers. So the thing I asked our group was, like, how can we problem solve? Like, okay, here, it is what it is, right? Like, there's no special ed teachers out there, and at the time, it was August 20th. What can we do instead, to indirectly help not only special ed students, but all students? So we've made some, and I emailed you guys on this, but I think it's good for the community here. Like, we have said, we can't find special ed teachers, but we can find some highly, highly skilled, non-certified individuals with associate's degree or college degrees across the, in the community. So the position that we are adding at the middle school, we already have a similar position at the high school, but is a student support specialist. And I, again, emailed you guys on that. I checked in with our, we cannot find, for the life of us, a special ed teacher. I went to Central today, and I said, Ross, to Mr. Bauer, how are we looking on this position? Do you have any applicants for this student success position? He said, Jared, I've got 20 applicants. Wow. 20 applicants for this, highly skilled. I mean, he said, I can't believe, we could probably pick 5 or 6 of these people to take these positions. I think that's the problem solving, the outside the box thinking that we need to do. We need to say, we cannot find a certified teacher. The state is very scripted on what you need to do to have a classroom filled by a teacher. However, we've got some freedom in terms of other positions that would still meet the needs of our students by supporting our teaching staff and our administrative staff. So again, I think we need to be creative, and that all 4 buildings have double-digit applicants. I mean, there are some talented people in the community who could, and I've seen it with our paras, I've seen it with our family support workers, like, if we can't find the certified teachers, who else can we find that can support our students, support our staff? And I think that's where we need to pivot a little bit, not to an extreme. We're hoping that at second semester we can fill some more special ed positions. I believe we've got 4 or 5 student teaching with us right now. Assuming they're highly competent, we will absolutely take them on for second semester. But we've also got money that's budgeted for salaries that we're not using that we need to use to make sure we're addressing the needs of our students. So I found that as a highlight today. Talking with Central, I wasn't sure how many applicants we'd have, and there are people, we got to create the position that bring those people into us.
Go ahead.
So I was just going to mention, I think my concern when you mentioned that the large classroom size, and, I think as a parent, we want our students to sometimes have that individual, but when you have a classroom of 30 or 40, will the classroom size go down if you end up hiring individuals like that in the building? I mean, because that's always a concern for a parent.
Yeah, I don't know, and I have not yet really been able to dig into our secondary staffing. That was always done by the former associate superintendent, but with the change in things, I got into it a little bit with our new director of secondary ed and our secondary principals this year. So that's something we'll be obviously looking at. I don't really have a lot of answers for the class sizes at secondary. At elementary, I can think of maybe 1, maybe 2 sections just across the district that might have a class size of 30. Otherwise, they are all lower than that. We have a pretty prescriptive goal for what we want our elementary classroom sizes to be. That is, I would say, much smaller than other districts. And so that gives us a little bit of cushion sometimes when we have to move a teacher from here to there or cap a section somewhere. So there's a few big ones out there, but really, I think we're sticking somewhat close to what our goal numbers are.
How many sections did you say? we're over 30?
Say what?
How many sections?
I think at the elementary level, it might only be one or two.
So
So
that'd be
that's
actually less
just-
than what we had during the No Child Left Behind era, right? We had higher classrooms in some buildings then, just through the,
Yeah, our
Different
targets for elementary class sizes at the smallest, at the kindergarten level, are 18 to 20. And then that goes up to 20 to 22 for first and second grade, 23 to 25 for third, and then 26 to 28 for fourth and fifth. So, especially at the lower grades, I feel like those are really nice class sizes if we can keep them there.
Now,
Are the certified special ed positions, are they broken down into secondary and elementary, or are they across the board?
The way we have them posted are, it's at the school, so it's at the specific school that they're at.
Meaning the people, are there certifications for elementary, or are there certifications for secondary?
It depends
Or-
on the level, yeah. So there's a K-8 endorsement for the higher needs, what we call our Strategist 2 endorsement. That goes K-12, but most of our special education teachers are what you would consider a Strategist Level 1. And so that there's a K-8 endorsement and a 512 endorsement for that, so.
and looking at the problem solving, did we specifically ask the awesome special ed teachers that we have right now in place, what would help them?
I have confidence that Megan is doing that. I think right now, the obvious answer is find more
Bodies.
people.
Yeah.
We are, with our paraeducator positions, we're piloting something this semester where we are working with some of our local colleges that have schools of education. And in cases where they have students that might be looking for jobs, we are now going to hire them part-time at certain buildings and then allow the buildings to creatively schedule them around their student schedule. So it does not fill all of our gaps, but it is a kind of a new avenue we're piloting. And for this semester, we didn't start talking about it till the summer. So I'm hoping in future semesters with more lead time or future school years, we'll be able to get more than what we have now. But this is something brand new and kind of a avenue of recruiting that we haven't been able to make happen before, so.
And then when you were telling those numbers, as far as how do we set that on the building subs? Do we have, permanent building subs, or are we utilizing them?
We do. It's either one or two buildings that don't have one at the moment, but every building is allowed to have one. I would have to, I can't remember why the two buildings that don't have them, but
And
that's something I would have
would
to
there
follow
be a
up with you on.
possibility of them wanting to become a non-sub and a regular?
A teacher. Most of them are not certified teachers, so in those cases, they could not take an actual classroom position, but.
Okay. And I guess I just wanted to also, in looking through all the agenda, the leaves and absences and resignations, and just going through here, I mean, some of these, even in coaching, resigning 8/10 of 23, paras resigning 8/20/23. I mean, it's just a constant moving of how, so I guess it's not being proactive, we have to be reactive because people are leaving at all times.
Yeah, a lot of times, some of the paraeducator positions, they will wait till August to resign because, I don't know, maybe they don't think about it until August when school is getting close back, but yeah, that does happen.
Okay.
In the past, we've tried to stabilize classes within 2 weeks of the start of the year. So is there any indication this year so far that, we'll be combining classrooms in some schools or adding classrooms in some, in other words, dividing existing classrooms or combining, that's always kind of a difficult thing, and the longer you wait to do it, the worse it is. So where do
Right.
we stand on that?
For elementary, which is where I'm probably most involved at, we are looking at those numbers every single day, trying to see if there's any room that we can and any issues that we need to address, or anywhere that, whoa, we didn't get as many kids in that grade level at that school as we were hoping for, or we were expecting. So me and Jennifer Hartman, our elementary director, who I think is back there still, are looking at that on a daily basis, just to see if there's anything we can be doing or should be doing.
But hopefully it'll be settled by, even though
This is what we got today.
the enrollment typically keeps increasing right up to count day if we're going out and scouring the bushes for students who haven't showed up yet. But still, I'm assuming in every day that goes on, it becomes more stable than the day before.
Yeah, at this point, I don't anticipate much change in our teaching assignments at the elementary level, just based on
Okay.
kind of what I've seen, but a few of our buildings do have a more mobile population and will kind of be fluid throughout the school year.
Okay.
I just had one comment to go with this. So, besides Teach Waterloo, we do have a lot of paras who are currently in school. And I'm really hoping that we can look at the idea of creating a more formal Grow Your Own program to support those teachers or those paras as they continue their education, so that we can, and a lot of them are going to become special ed teachers. So I'm hoping that we will be able to look at that and make something a little more formalized, so that in 5 years, we don't have these concerns as much because we've grown our own. So thank you.
Okay, any more questions? Can we get this on the table first? Can I have a?
So
motion
moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay.
Before we approve, I want to, we do have somebody in the audience I'd like to introduce, if that's okay. So Emily Frederick is at the top name under your personnel appointment. She is going to, assuming we're approved here, be our new Director of School and Community Relations. So Sue's stepping up, or I'm sorry, Emily is stepping up to the, before she speaks, I want to say we had a very, talk about a talented field of people who apply for a position. There's definitely not a shortage of communications people out there. So if we had like communications positions, that would be one that we would fill pretty easily, because there's so many people out there. Emily beat out a number of talented individuals for this position. There were, we brought in 4 finalists, some great candidates, but Emily really impressed us with her just, her excitement for the school district. She has some ties. She's been in Waterloo kind of in and out for some time now. So we're just super excited to have her here, and she's here tonight with us. She doesn't officially start until mid-September because she had to give her current position a little bit of notice, but she's here tonight, so if she wants to say a few words, or you can at least see a face and a name, it'd be great, so.
I would. Thank you, Dr. Smith, and thank you to all of you. I know that serving on a school board can sometimes be a thankless job, so thank you for dedicating your time and your energy on behalf of the students in the Waterloo School District. Really appreciate what it is that you do. I am super excited to start on September 18th. In researching for this position prior to applying, I was so incredibly impressed with the work that the Waterloo schools do to ensure that all of your students can have individualized pathways to their own success. And I am so very excited to be a part of helping make that happen.
Great. Well, welcome aboard. We're excited, and we'll hear more about you and learn more about you, and wish you were starting tomorrow, but.
I wish I was starting tomorrow too. I'm wondering if my email's up and running yet and if I can log into it, but very excited. Dr. Smith's done an excellent job of already bringing me in and introducing me to some folks. I've gotten to meet some of the staff. And I will be attending a few meetings between now and my start date as well. I see my friends from Envision over here who I've worked on a school project with and a hospital project with, and so I'm looking forward to having some participation here building up to that official start date on the 18th.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Thank
We're
you.
excited to have you, and
Same
get
here.
running with your feet going ahead fast.
Very excited. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you. Okay, anything else then for personnel appointments and adjustments? All in favor then of accepting, please state aye. Aye. Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion is carried 6-0. Thank you all for your patience. Next, we'll move on to Exhibit G, which is Tri-County Agreement. And this is the contracted service agreement. We have Jen Hartman and Dr. Charlotta Suddeth here to give us all the background and the information. I'll get the motion on the table. The superintendent's recommendation is that the Board of Education approve the contract service between Tri-County Child and Family Development Council, Inc., and the Waterloo Community School District for the 23-24 school year.
So moved.
Second.
And we will go ahead, but Jen, and I see Charlotta on her way up, so.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, we were making sure all kids were getting home safely tonight, so sorry I was back in the back on my phone. But we are excited. We have a very similar contract to what you're used to seeing with Head Start, and they are running into the same employment issues that we are. So in the contract, it's mostly the same, but they are down a couple of people that resigned at the very last minute. And so we are working with them to work together to try to find some paras and some assistant teachers at a few of our buildings, 2 positions that we're trying to fill. And so we have applicants for that, and we're just trying to work together. They're in the same situation that we are. So we are also spending quite a bit of this year really looking at what we can do and can't do. With Head Start, they have to meet federal guidelines, as you know. And so with the teacher shortage and all that is going on right now in the nation, we're hoping that we can have possibly some accommodations met so that we can look at even different ways of educating our youngest kids. Whether that's in half-day programs so that we can just serve more children. We definitely have a few more spots that we could take by mid-year that we would love to fill with a teacher. So keep your ears open for anybody that is licensed and available certified pre-K through grade 3, and we will definitely look at them. And I'm going to turn it over to Shar.
I understand there, good evening, everyone. How are you? I understand there were a couple questions, and so, Lyle?
Yeah,
All right.
of course. Just compare this proposed program to last year. This is 174 kids. How many did we have last year? And it's 66.80 per kid. What was it last year?
So last year, we maintained the 174, and last year it was about 6,100 per student.
How much?
6,100, that is including both semesters.
Okay, and so this is, how many classrooms at Lowell?
Lowell, we have about 9, but district-wide, we have 26.
There's 9 Head Start classrooms?
No,
No.
the Head Start children are infused throughout all classrooms in the district. The Head Start children are integrated within all the pre-K classrooms in the district, except for the voluntary preschool partnership classrooms.
Okay, so there's none at another site? There's no Head Start site?
No, because all those children are integrated throughout all the classrooms, pre-K classrooms throughout the district.
Okay.
Yeah. So at Lowell, let me just.
So I know I ask this every year, so you're,
That's okay.
how do you measure success? How do you know that this is money well spent?
Well, it'd be better than them sitting at home, I'm sure, but we measure success by using the GOLD assessment system, and it's a developmentally appropriate system to be using with early childhood, in early childhood, and it really just is a continuum to let us know that students are ready for kindergarten entry. It measures cognitive, it measures social emotional development, it measures physical development, it measures math, it measures literacy, the whole
So-
gamut.
So when are these measures
So we,
done?
We do them fall and in the spring, and historically, we did them 3 times a year. And our Head Start kids will continue to have that assessment administered 3 times a year. But this year, our statewide voluntary preschool students will have that assessment administered twice.
And is that comparison continue into kindergarten?
Well, you know, in kindergarten, they use different measures, and so it is not, you know, a complete transfer, you know, that way, but,
All right.
and you know, Lyle, you know, there is some regression, but not so much at kindergarten as it is at maybe grade 2.
Okay, thank you
Okay, dear.
for your great work.
Oh, thank you.
So just like for clarification, what is the difference that, so we have our Head Start kids are just part of our normal pre-Ks
Absolutely.
throughout the district, yeah.
Absolutely.
So why do we have Head Start then? Is it just that partnership? If we already have them in the same classroom as the kids, what's different having Head Start?
In a nutshell, Stacy, money. We don't garner
that's
enough
what I was
money
thinking.
to run these pre-K programs. Jeff is sitting right there. I'm so happy to see him on tonight. We start in the red and we usually end in the red, and that's something that we really, you know, probably the district should maybe have some communications about that. You know, how important is pre-K to our district?
Yes, ma'am.
And where are we headed with our strategic plan as it pertains to preschool and pre-K in our district?
You,
Does-
men- you, men-
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
you mentioned that there were 174 children last year as well as this year.
Uh-huh.
Is there generally a waiting list, and how big is that waiting list normally?
We have a sizable wait list, and I am hoping that if we ever get down to a point where there's a school building open, I may not be here at that time, but I'd like to just introduce that idea right now, that one of those buildings be used for pre-K. We have a sizable wait list. We could serve many more children. Dr. Smith has talked to us about, you know, other districts serving at least 80% of those all eligible children. And at this point, I think in Waterloo Community Schools, we serve approximately 58 to 60% of all eligible 4-year-olds in our pre-K programs.
Give me a rough number.
I do have a rough number, like right now, we're sitting at about 569. So, and we probably could take 750 easy.
And what's our kindergarten class size, Jen?
We're right around that 800
Gee.
students, so we're serving a big number, but we have the capacity. We would love to serve more. And Stacy, too, in response to your question as well, we want to make sure that our preschool programs in Waterloo have a certified teacher, and so Head Start likes that partnership with us, because that's not necessarily a requirement in their classrooms, and so when we partner with that, we have a certified classroom teacher.
So there's kids who are on a wait list, not just for Head Start. Do you mean to get into preschool, like into our buildings, period?
To any, in fact, if
Even with-
anybody could look at opening up preschools and daycares in the Cedar Valley, I mean, it's an issue throughout the state, throughout the country. There are just not enough places and enough people to serve in this capacity.
What,
Wow,
what
okay.
percentage of our preschoolers, and you may not know, I'll tell you, are coming in with IEPs, or will probably end up with IEPs?
Excuse me,
For the-
Jennifer. At least 10%.
Which is, I'm glad you brought that up. Like, my daughter was identified in pre-K, which made her transition into kindergarten so much easier because she had her IEP coming in.
So how many of these 174 are at Lowell?
Let's see, at Lowell, we're sitting at totally 140, but I can get that broken down more for you,
No.
Lyle.
Well, my question was, is it more efficient to have a critical mass, like at Lowell, a lot of students, or individually at these other schools that, you know, just have a few?
It is more efficient for a number of reasons. Jen, you want to start in, and then whatever you don't finish, I can.
You mean it's more efficient at Lowell, right?
No, it was more efficient to have a critical mass at like one building.
Yes, gotcha, okay.
Like element.
We would, right now, we're just packed. We have absolutely 0 spots available for pre-K at this point. We would love to have a central location, and we can serve as many as we can at Lowell, but those rooms are full now too. So then we look at all of our available spaces at every elementary school. We'd love to open up a pre-K at Lou Henry, for example, but there's not a room. So, yes, there's many schools that we would love to have something. So we continue to serve what we can, and that's why we're going to spend this year really looking at and partnering with Head Start, hoping that we can get some kind of a waiver that we can look at to serving our kids half-days. Many districts do a half-day program, 2.5 hours a day, and that way we're able to really double the capacity that we have.
Oh, so all of our pre-K kids are all day?
They're
Is it
full
every day? All day,
Yeah,
every day?
they're full day, except for our 3-year-olds
Okay,
that are, yeah.
okay.
And I just have to say this just because it is true. And we're able to garner funding for even those Head Start students because they go all day. We can count them in the afternoon with our statewide voluntary preschool program monies. So they do, yeah, it's a sizable piece of money. So I hope when that happens, all of those aspects will be taken into consideration, because right now, the program itself doesn't quite sustain itself. So if we cut hours, we may cut funding.
So there's categorical funding for this?
Yes, we get state voluntary preschool money, and we also get Head Start money. The state voluntary preschool comes from the state of Iowa.
So how much per kid is that?
I don't know right off.
I do. At this time, it's $3,627.
Is that next agenda item?
So they pay for half?
Approximately. So like the Head Start children, since they're going all day, there's a prescribed number of hours that Head Start requires. And then because we can, keep serving them that full day, which parents do prefer, let's just be honest. It's hard to get off of these jobs and come and get a preschooler at noon or 1 o'clock. And so we can also get the funding for statewide voluntary preschool money. So
you're saying each kid gets 2 separate sources of funding?
Well, it's called braiding. Only the Head Start children can get that braided money. Okay?
And that's the 3627 per
Yes,
kid?
sir. Yes, sir, because of the full-day programming.
Now, this says $33.40 per child per semester.
So if you double it, are you talking
Yeah.
about the Head Start?
$66.80 then.
Yes, yep, it went up, and I'd like to just thank our, go on the record to say I want to thank Tri-County Child and Family, because they have been great partners for a number of years. They have a semi-new director, Dr. Robert Welch, and since I've been here, they've tried to give an increase, and I think this year again, there was a 3% increase.
So we're really limiting choices for our community members by not having enough spots here available for them, and may have them going elsewhere to find those options.
Yeah, and that's true, and yeah. So, right now, preschool probably could be something that we could talk about expanding, because it doesn't follow district boundaries, okay? Yeah, we serve quite a few students that could be in another district. As long as they're not receiving preschool services in that district, they can come to our district.
And we really tried to really look at just Waterloo school students this year. That has been done in the past, but we really are targeting our first kids, our Waterloo kids. But that goes into then our private partners that we have with various churches that have a preschool program too, and you might want to talk about that a little bit, about what the expectation is there.
So the purpose of the law for that voluntary preschool program is just to raise quality for all students that would be, kindergarten age eligible. And I think there was a question on the floor about Emmanuel Lutheran specifically.
Yeah, I think we need to vote on the Head Start first.
Okay.
The agreement is just Tri-County
Okay.
Child and Family Development. So we'll vote on that, and then we'll go to the next and questions there, if that's okay. So does anybody have additional questions regarding the Tri-County Family Development Council and the contracted services?
I have one additional question. The state numbers on enrollment give a pre-K enrollment, PK-12 enrollment, and a K-12 enrollment. Okay? So the difference, is there any, do they count it all in state funding, the pre-K kids?
Yes, they do.
So is that separate from the 3627, or are you talking about the same?
Yes, that's
number?
different. For all of our students, we receive, well, this year we're all receiving 7,635, so they would be counted just the same as all the other students.
Even pre-K?
Yes.
But that doesn't,
We're receiving 0.5%.
Yeah, I think we get half of that for pre-K.
Yeah, yes, it's weighted.
but that doesn't go to the Head Start kids, or does it? I mean, it's not double dipped, right?
Let me.
I'm sorry, it
No,
doesn't matter.
No,
We'll talk-
this,
we-
no,
we can do it
this is
later.
what we do all day. We teach and reteach. That's okay. No, I want to be clear. It's okay, Stacy. No. So, for children that qualify for statewide voluntary preschool programming only, then that is the 0.5 money that we get for
Okay.
them, that
Okay.
36, whatever. What I was saying as far as the Head Start children, because we go a full day, Head Start gives us a sizable amount of money, $1 million some odd dollars, which is wonderful.
Got it.
And then we can braid on, because they're going all day, we can count them and get some statewide voluntary preschool money as well for those 174 children, which helps sustain our program.
Got it.
And Jeff's correct, too. When we have students that qualify for special education services, then there are weighted dollars that go along with that, too.
Thank you.
But when you say it doesn't pay for itself, what's the shortfall?
Well, I would turn that over to Jeff.
I don't have an exact figure, but I've been working through that at year end. I'm going to say it's somewhere in the ballpark of 200,000.
200
200,000, yes.
for
Overall, for all of our preschool programs.
For all the programs?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we have, it's just not really Tri-County related, but do we have an idea of what percentage of our kids in preschool are ELL, or do we have much in that?
Yeah, I think about 6%, but I can probably get you a better estimate of that. But that's where we've been running in years past, between 5 and 6%
5 and 6%.
ELL.
Is that low percentage due to not understanding there's opportunity out there for early education for some of our?
I don't know. I think, Jesse, it's probably a myriad of variables. Some of our cultures, they rather have their children with them longer. And that's okay.
Yeah.
They don't want that, so they wait till 5. I think some of it, language, but we try to, put all of our materials into the different languages that we have. And then I'll just be quite honest, we don't even have to advertise our pre-K. When the first Monday in February hits, we're full before the end of the day.
I just think about, earlier we can help with the language development,
Oh, yeah, oral
for
language
those students
development.
there, it's another year ahead,
Yes,
you know.
full immersion, absolutely.
I'm just curious, and it might be unrelated, the new location on 4th Street for Head Start, do any of our students go there or no?
You know, they do operate privately,
Got it.
but most
Yep.
of their 4-year-olds are with us. But they do have, you know, birth
Their own.
through 3, early head start, that way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, are we good on this contract then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Let's vote.
All in favor then of approving this contract for the 23-24 school year, please state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Okay, now we will move on, and we'll get this one on the table, and this is voluntary PK. And the superintendent's recommendation is that the Board of Education approve the Iowa voluntary preschool contracts for 2023-2024.
So
So
moved.
move.
Second.
Thank you. And now this is when I raised the question as far as having one of the preschool locations in Cedar Falls.
Right, so let me just, you know, continue to be myself. What you see is who I am. So we have had up to 6 private partnerships. And the intent of that law was to spread the love. What are you saying, Charlotta? Spread the quality. So I specifically checked, Sue, and just because you're a great gal, you know. I know
Thank you.
So I specifically checked Emmanuel Lutheran, like you asked, and what we have going there, out of those 19 students that's enrolled, we have 7 that have Cedar Falls addresses, okay? We have 9 that have Waterloo, okay? And then we have a smattering, New Hartford, is Washburn with us, I believe? Washburn is with us, and Evansdale is with us, okay? So the intent of the law was to give parents choice, and then, you know, a rising tide raises all boats. Try to spread our quality throughout that. So that's really what it was about.
Right. No, and I'm just wondering if we do look for other sites potentially. I mean, Emmanuel used to be right downtown and was a great resource, but since it is kind of mirrored, a hard place to get unless a parent knows where it is. I mean, basically way well off of Green Hill and back up in there. So just wondered that as far as with our Waterloo students, and obviously if we have over half, you know, that are from Waterloo in the pre-K program there, then that's wonderful. But I just kind of wondering the logistics of that, because a big deal of choice, and I'm all for, you know, the opportunities that people seek, and they want to send their students to somewhere that they choose to send their student to. I'm all for that. But just wanted to check on the background of that.
Well, we're always open, and I think Jen wants to say something, and I'm looking forward to a meeting I think that Jen and I will be taking. It doesn't necessarily, you know, mean voluntary preschool, but wonderful opportunity may have presented itself that we could have a couple classrooms at the Grout Museum.
Oh, that would be cool.
So we're looking into that, but yes, Sue, we're always open to additional partnerships, and maybe you all will have to get me some help, or either, yeah, I'll leave that there.
Okay.
If you also, just as you're around town, see any spaces, especially northern part of town, would love to look at what are some options. We just want to make sure that we're serving kids where they're at, and that they're not on a bus all the time. So if you see something, let one of us know, and we can explore that opportunity.
So kids who go to private preschools that aren't one of our partners, those aren't free, right? That's what the Iowa Voluntary Preschool only covers if you go to one of the ones that we partner with, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
So there seems to be 2 different costs. Learn and Play and A and Z, I think, are $2,050 per student.
Yeah.
The others are $36.27. What is the difference?
So the difference is at those 2 locations, we provide the teacher, so we don't funnel as much money to them.
So what staff do we provide at the other ones?
They have to have their own certified teacher in order to participate, and they have to meet, you know.
So do we oversee in any way?
Oh, absolutely.
So what is that staff requirement?
Oh, geez. They have to have the certified teacher.
Yeah.
Their parents have to either have a CDA or an AA associate degree or the para-educator certificate. And so then, Lyle, we have to go out and monitor. That's why I was saying, we have to monitor those locations. And then I do complete a desk audit with the Department of Ed, ensuring that they have met the statewide voluntary preschool program standards.
So you monitor just the administrative stuff, or do you monitor the actual effectiveness of the classroom teaching?
We monitor all of it. We go in and try to make sure that the teacher, is delivering the instruction appropriately. That's why, good instruction is good instruction, pre-K-12. We go in there, we make sure the facilities are appropriate, the room space is appropriate. We look at every aspect of that program, the children and all, for those 10 hours a week, okay?
So if we see a deficiency in delivery, what do we do?
So then I bring it to their attention, and, they have to correct it. Or if the Department of Ed, sees a deficiency, so I have to have that desk audit to them, which is kind of like, oh, gosh. But anyway, it is truly an audit that I have to have into them October 15th, and then if they find any deficiencies, then I have to resubmit it prior to Christmas. So, working back and forth with those partners, trying to make sure that they're following the quality standards.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Very good you provide, very good oversight.
Almost too good. Because I'm starting to think that folks think this is the only thing I can do. Gotcha. All right.
Okay. Any other questions then regarding these contracts? Okay. All in favor then, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you both very much,
you all
ladies.
so much.
Appreciate
Have a
it.
good evening.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work though, Charlotta.
All right.
Okay, our next item is item I, which is the Central Middle School WCCX change order. And the background on this, I think we will have Kate here to explain for us, and we'll get the recommendation on the table. The superintendent's recommendation is that the Board of Education approve the Central Middle School Remodel Waterloo Career Center Expansion Project change order number 18 as an add of $29,942.53 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
And discussion. Thanks, Kate.
Glad to be here. There are two items in this change order. The first one has to do with egress from mechanical rooms on the second floor at Central Middle School. And this one is upstairs, where the new staircase goes up, and it used to be the Family and Consumer Science kitchen up there, and there's two mechanical rooms on either end of the floor. Doesn't really matter except for the fact that those mechanical rooms, once the building official went through the building, realized that those existing conditions with the doors at those mechanical rooms, that they wanted those to be egress doors and swing in the direction of travel. The existing condition was that those doors swung into those mechanical rooms, so that if you were in the mechanical room, you'd have to pull the door to leave. That's not what made it expensive. What made it expensive is that those floors are 18 inches above the corridor to which they connect. To accommodate that transition from 18 inches down to the height of egress required a stoop basically to be built with some stairs and a handrail on both sides, plus swinging the door out. We were able to salvage the door and use it by turning it around. We had to purchase some hardware. We were able to salvage some hardware. We did what we could to try and keep that cost down, but the bulk of it is in building that platform to exit safely so that it wasn't an 18-inch step if you were doing an emergency egress out to get out of those mechanical rooms.
Okay.
That's what that's about. Any questions?
Have those been completed?
I wouldn't say fully complete, but yes, they have been installed. They're trying to stay on schedule.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, if it would
Yes,
do
I
any.
realize there's some risk there.
Yeah,
This is another case where it's kind of disappointing that the city approves the drawings. They seem to not really be able to decipher from the drawings what it looks like until it's built. Then after it's built, they come back and say, oh, we want this changed, so it's always disappointing. I wish the city had more competence and took more responsibility in standing by the approvals that they make, but we're not in that situation.
So Kate, there's still balance left, though, in some of the allowances, right?
So I can tell you exactly where the project will stand financially after this is approved.
Okay,
So when this project was bid, it was bid at $28,856,000. If this change order is approved, it brings the total project cost to $29,383,861.21. Do you want me to repeat that?
we have it on our,
Okay.
yep.
The bulk of the allowances have been spent down, except for one of them, which was for over-excavation. We will not push any money to that allowance because that work is complete. We will not need it. That's credit you will get back at the end of the project. And that allowance was
that's the 30,000.
$30,000, yeah.
And then it shows a 16,000 for exterior plant landscaping and a 50,000 for environmental graphics. So those,
So those two, it's unlikely that we will put more toward those allowances either.
okay,
The landscaping package has already been priced and the purchase order's been issued to do what landscaping we think is appropriate. So I don't see anything else coming toward that, but my crystal ball is not 100% clear. And then the graphics allowance, there's probably some money to be spent there. Probably when we have glazing, particularly at the WCCX building. We put a lot of film on glass while it was a temporary middle school. That probably wouldn't be what was originally intended for it to be a WCCX building. So there's some graphics for glass that will probably change, and we haven't issued a final package for any glazing in the new classroom area. You know, glazing graphics that you might put on glass so people don't walk through it, or just to make it be a little less visible for kids in and out of classrooms. Some of that will probably get spent.
So, after a project like this, do you do any lessons learned with, like, the city
Well,
to kind of prevent kind of things in the future? I mean, other organizations, you would look at a project, okay, what went right, what went wrong, what are we going to do to not?
well, we definitely do it internally and with our consultants. I have to say, I've never done it with the city, but I think that after Lyle said that, it did cross my mind. We should probably, especially on renovation projects, walk through a site with the city representatives before they do their approval. Now, I know they go to the buildings regularly. The fire marshal goes in all the time. But, you know, there's a disconnect between looking at a set of drawings and actually walking through a building. And I think that that would probably be a good proactive thing for us to do.
We all agree that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
Yeah.
and obviously they're building with some they have grandfathered issues, they have code issues that possibly change. I mean, but in something like this, that would not be applicable, I don't think, so.
I mean, there's a piece of me who can see both sides of why this one was overlooked, but either
I
way.
think an after-action review would be
Yeah,
warranted, especially on a project this size.
especially with complicated renovations. You know, this is a complicated renovation for sure.
And we should,
Combining old and new.
You know, hopefully we will make Nova two, other buildings that are similar age that are older, that future renovations of those perhaps, that we don't kind of may encounter some of the
Well-
same headaches.
Yeah, and some of it's discretionary, it depends on who the person is at the city, you know. Of course, the big one was East High, that renovation, that whole wall in there was not in the original drawings, and then it got built, and they said, oh, you need to put this firewall. And so that was a big one, things like that, you know.
Well, I think duly noted, I think we have a punch list that we could go to the city with too, but I think it would be good. So all in favor then of accepting the Central Middle School remodel ad, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries 6-0. Thank
Any other
you.
questions?
I think we're good for that.
Thank you.
Next agenda item would be the bid approval for the Central Middle School remodel, Waterloo Career Center. The superintendent's recommendation is that the Board of Education accept the recommendation from Envision and approve the Central Middle School remodel, Waterloo Career Center expansion furniture bids as outlined for a total contract cost of $1,403,312.59.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And if you want to introduce yourself, that would be great, and then start with giving us all your wealth of knowledge.
All right, sounds good. Hi, I'm Kendra Christensen, interior designer for Envision. So this furniture package included outfitting both Central Middle School as well as the Career Center expansion, so all portions of both of those buildings. We did receive competitive bids from 5 different dealers. The specification allows for you to accept bids per manufacturer category rather than overall low bid, which gives kind of the best possible price. We did come in, the bid amounts were within the expected cost for the work, in fact, about 20% less than our original budget. So I guess I'll open it up if there's any questions.
Was the staff involved in?
Yes, yep. Yes, on the Career Center side, Amy and Jeff were very much involved. A lot of that was repeat furniture from the original Career Center building. On the Central Middle School side, we had not only met with Ross and his team, but also leadership from each curriculum. Yes, thank you. Yep.
So does this set of furniture differ from what's in the other schools?
It's along the same lines as Zach Kelly was also involved in this process as well to ensure that we were in line with what's going on in other middle schools with the district, so.
And obviously, it coordinates well with the Career Center.
Correct, yep.
Okay. That's great, it's 20% less, that's awesome.
Yeah, yes, we got some very competitive bids, which was great.
And is it typical to use like 5 different companies, 6 different companies with this type of bid?
Yeah, it
Okay.
is, yep. In fact, I think this is 5 dealers is quite a bit to bid on a package, which was so really great attendance, but it's not uncommon to have 3 to 5 different dealers.
And the Wisconsin bench, where are they out of? Do you know?
Wisconsin.
Okay. That's what I wondered. I wondered, because a lot of the local vendors,
Yep.
you know, but that was one that was not, so.
Yep, and all of the, so the vendors kind of scatter throughout the U.S. a little bit, you know, obviously most are Midwest, but all of the dealers that will be responsible for providing the furniture are all local. I think the furthest away is probably Paragon and Cedar Rapids.
Awesome. So if the bids are close with the local and an outside, we would tend to, for the same product, say local if we can?
Yep, that's up to the school to decide that, yep.
Perfect.
Do they have, what was I gonna say? Is everything in stock?
Yep, we did check lead times. I can't say specific to each one. Sometimes that kind of ebbs and flows, but with approval tonight, we should be good to go to have furniture in December, but we're cutting it pretty close,
Okay.
so.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions then? So all in favor of the furniture bid, please state aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. And thank you very much and good work.
Thank you.
The next item is Exhibit K, which is the superintendent's contract. And I will, the Board of Education, all of us, 7 of us, met here in closed session with Dr. Smith and without him on June 28th, 2023, for an annual review of performance on specific goals and objectives. And my recommendation is that the Board of Education renew the superintendent's contract through June 30th, 2026, with commensurate salary and benefit compensation.
Second.
And we can have discussion here on the board. I'll start out that what we did is we got goals and objectives from, or positives from all 6 other board members and myself. And we went on our top priorities, top goals. Each of us were allowed to. We collaborated and pieced that together on positives, on things to improve, on great things, on things that weren't so great in the first year of Dr. Smith. And we all agreed that he had done a super job in increasing the climate of our district and his presence in the buildings, and some very extremely positive comments came out from all board members, which feel free to state tonight. And we did offer him, renew his contract that evening, and we do have he received a benefit package that our finance department worked out with Dr. Smith with our approval. So are there any other comments from board members? Don't be shy.
Just that the meeting really has 2 components. The first component is where are we at? How did we do last year on the goals? What are the most important goals for the next year? And then the second piece that follows then is where we spend the majority of the time, and that is what are the most important goals for Dr. Smith to accomplish in this next year? And that's where the board collaborated, always collaborates extensively, being as specific as we can on those goals. So it's kind of like, where are we at, where we want to go. So it's always kind of a 2-part meeting.
And what worked well. And I think for the first year, it was, we did not have tons of goals because we wanted Dr. Smith to get oriented to, to make his footprint in the district, and so we worked from there.
It becomes a baseline year. But in setting the goals, we also consider what's changed in the environment, what's changed in the numbers, what's changed in the total picture that would cause us to adjust goals accordingly.
And with Jared, obviously climate has changed dramatically, but that's not, he's done so much. It's almost hard to quantify it all, but coming in and taking hold of issues that we've had and really doing more than I guess I thought we would expect in the first year. So it was overwhelmingly positive, and the things that we did have for this is what we'd like in the future were all things that I think Jared was already saying, this is what I'd like to do. So it was really good to be able to go in and have Jared, who's super great at taking feedback anyway, but be able to go in and talk about the changes that have happened this year. And it does feel light in the district. People feel confident, and those things change then everything else. our new goals with attendance and achievement, those come with kids feeling like they want to be in the building, teachers feeling like they want to be in the building. So I also just wanted to say that Jared's raise was in line with with all the other administrators as well. So I know we don't talk about that a lot, but I know people like to know. So it was in the 3% something, so.
I'll go ahead and piggyback off of Board Mills and just mention the comments from the community about Jared also reflected in our, at least for my decision-making. It's really hard to come in first year and just all of a sudden, voila, things change. But he's come in and made a shift. And that's what we asked for. That's what we wanted as a board when we hired you. And so going from there, since we do have a foundation and we, now have these certain goals that we want as we move forward, everything's, comes into play, like test scores and culture and all those dynamics will make a difference as we move forward in the future. So thank you for agreeing to sign another contract. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Esther or Jesse?
Yeah, I'll go. I like to go second or third sometimes because my fellow board members always hit it on the head, but glad you did agree to stay. Some of the things that we've heard in the community and within the buildings as well, just the receptiveness of and the feeling heard that people feel. We can feel the culture shifting. We know, and we've talked about this in length and during that meeting as well, just being able to now move forward. There are some things that we're going to work on as a district, and you as well. You have some directives, so just getting your people in place, getting a handle on the district and ready to move forward. So I'm excited about the next years to come. Just seeing where we can go as a district and as a whole. So glad you're here for this journey with us, and well done first year.
Jesse?
No, yeah, I think a good year. I mean, we have, just in education in general, we have a lot of challenges in front of us in general. I mean, there's a lot of changes in legislation that are impacting us. We're, a little bit, clouded on where our, school enrollment numbers will be in the future and those types of things. But, I mean, you seem to be weathering the storms here and kind of dealing with the ebbs and flows that come day to day, but also with some strategic planning long term, which, is very key to maintaining a healthy district. We got to take care of actions day to day, but also we got to have some vision to where we're going long term too. So, manage both those.
Well, and I think it was a year full of lots of positives. There were struggles, and I think you handled them very appropriately and very well, and I appreciate that. And I think that you're very professional in how things were presented to you and how you reacted. So I appreciate that greatly. And if we have no other comments or questions, then it's kind of awkward to talk about somebody in front of them, but it's okay. But I don't know if you have anything to add?
Sure. So thanks for all the kind words there. It was a great meeting. We met for probably 90 minutes or so. Some great feedback. I think we were all on the same page. I kind of was able to just even predict what your next year's goals were for me, and a lot of that we were already working on, some alignment pieces, some systems pieces, because we knew the first year would be really establishing that culture, and that is the base, like I think you mentioned, it's the kind of the foundation, right? And so we're doing some exciting alignment work, making sure that all of our buildings and departments are working towards a common vision, common goals. Super excited about it. But also, I've said this before, like, I'm only as good as the support I get from the board. And so we've had, we had some just a really good year, but I always, and there was also some difficult times too, but I always felt like once we talked it out and we talked about, able to give you the information you needed and the perspective, like you were always very supportive, and that matters a lot in my role, and any superintendent's role or any supervisor's role, like, is that they feel supported from their direct supervisor or their 7 direct supervisors, right? So I just want to say thanks for your support, and super excited. We got some great momentum going, and I'm just excited. I mean, you're going to see some cool things this year, so thank you for your commitment.
All
Pam's
right.
kind of his boss. Can Pam say something?
Oh, yeah, Pam is the boss. Let's be honest. Pam is really the boss.
Pam is the boss. Yeah. So with that all said, I would say as you start your second year, be bold. All in favor then of, and you matter. You matter and be bold. So all in favor then of the superintendent's contract, renewing that or offering that through June of 2026, please state aye. Aye. Any opposition? Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much, Jared. Dr. Smith. The next item on our agenda tonight is the board policy changes, and there are quite a few here tonight, so this is the first reading. So if we have questions, Pam is here, or I know Stacy, India are on policy and review. So we'll kind of quickly go through those, and then we can move on to our last item.
So I'm just going to leave it up to you guys. I'm sure you've taken a minute to review them all. In general, the policy changes are just making sure that we are consistent with what IASB is putting out as model policies. They work with attorneys down in Des Moines to put out, kind of what's general practice and what's best practice. So that's basically what all of these changes that you see before you are addressing. There is one new policy which has become a mandatory policy, and that is 80407, radon mitigation. That has recently come down within the last year that districts are required to do the radon mitigation, so we are adding that as well. There's a regulation that goes with it, and I know Zach and his department are really working on what that's going to look like for the Waterloo schools. So if you have any specific questions, I'd be happy to take a look and answer.
Is there any other type of required mitigation, like O2 or?
As far as that, I am not sure. I mean, we do like the asbestos and that type of thing.
Lead paint, whatever we would do remodels,
Yeah.
abatement stuff, anything would be covered in abatement, right?
Right.
But like carbon monoxide, you know how there's those,
Yeah.
detectors, yeah, CO2s. Mm-hmm.
I think Zach said we do have to have that stuff, because remember he was kind of going through the things that are listed. I mean, I'm not going to speak for him, so he can answer that at the second reading maybe, but.
Because just I'm thinking of your house, you have radon, the CO2, that type of thing, so, okay.
I was just going to say, one of the other things that we did, which I was happy, we went through, and there were times when it had said he, she, and we just changed all those to them or their, to start updating our verbiage to reflect really what it should reflect. So we did make those changes, and we'll be continuing to do that as we go forward.
Additionally, just for your general information, is that we are switching to a new onboard policy management tool. It's called Simbly, which is going to be really, really nice when it comes to board policy management as well as board agenda management. I'm super excited to get this going for policy. It just is going to really streamline the system for us. So I'm, expect within the next probably 6 months that we will have totally switched everything over. for that. And then additionally, we are, just FYI again, you're going to be seeing quite a few policies coming forward in the next couple months with a lot of the legislative changes. So just expect to see that on the agenda in the next 2-3 months. So policy review is very, very busy right now.
But I think that will only be advantageous for the district, this new system. Up front, maybe a lot of work, but then it's going to give us a lot better handle on everything. So I'm excited for that.
And additionally, it makes it, it's a much more user-friendly platform, so people will be able to go in and more easily browse our policies and do specific word searches that's going to pick up the information like instantly. So yeah, it's going to be a really good move. IASB actually uses that policy management system, and there's a lot of schools in Iowa that are migrating towards that.
I think it's great. Ours is really cumbersome to read.
Yeah. So these will be awesome changes, so we're looking forward to that. So that's the first reading again, so those will be back before us a time or two. So now we have moved on to the superintendent's report.
Yeah, just a couple updates. Obviously, we had a really good first week of school. Now, granted, the temperatures did not help us out one bit. When you're hitting 100 degrees on Wednesday and Thursday, makes things difficult. I'm really proud of our DLT, district leadership team, was really out in full force in the buildings, really getting a feel for what was going on, just making sure that students were getting in the right spot. Our leadership team, our principals, building leaders did a great job of adjusting schedules. As you know, we had early dismissals all last week. Just it was a really good first few days, having a chance to see a number of the classes in session. The teachers are excited. All the support staff are just doing a great job. One of the things I just want to make sure, I know, for those of you watching, I know transportation has come up a little bit. Let's be honest, it's been a little bit of a bumpy start. I just want to be clear, we've had 2 meetings already with, I was about to say the D word, right? For student leadership, and we're going to meet again tomorrow. Just to talk through those things. I've gotten a few messages I've been looking at my phone. Some parents have been messaging me just with some concerns, and we will absolutely work. That is a top priority for our parents and our students to feel like transportation should not be an issue. And part of it is that we are still a few bus drivers short. We're still trying to work out the kinks in terms of just the routing. So we're going to get better at it. So it's high on my priority list. Of course, I'm like, hey, things are going really well, but you always focus on those things that could be better. And I think transportation, after-school transportation, some of our transportation between the buildings, like I was at the WCC today, and some of the students were getting there late for class. And again, if we want to get the kids off to a good start, we got to make sure that they're there on time. So we're going to work through it, and we're going to put all of our effort to make sure that transportation gets better. So, but I feel good. Again, just going back to the bigger picture, great start to the school year. There's excitement in the buildings, like a couple of you mentioned, and just feels good. It feels like it's going to be a good year.
Okay, we'll start tonight with Stacy then for board comments.
Like Jared said, that I'm really excited with how the school year started. It was not fun that it was so hot to begin with, but I feel like parents did say that they really appreciated knowing in advance what it was going to look like, that we didn't wait till the night before. That really helped people figure out what we're going to do. So right from the start, it's gone well. At the East-West game Friday night, it was awesome. We had so many people there, lots of adult fans. The class of 93 was there for their 30th. I'm 92, but I kind of crashed their party for a little bit. The fans, the student sections on both sides, our staff, admins, our SROs, our band kids, our cheerleaders, our dancers, and our student athletes all gave it their all. It's disheartening that there was an incident that marred it. And I know that we are going to work to make sure that we can handle those things maybe a little more proactively, but it was handled well. I was in the stands, didn't even know. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who took care of that. And then one final, just a little PSA. So I have a extended family member that had a child fall into a pool over the weekend. There was a gathering, the child kind of got away because there were so many people. He fell into the pool and luckily was found, but has spent the weekend in Iowa City. So just, it's still summer, kids are still out doing things, we still have pools out, just the normal, be careful, watch them, you never know. It only takes that long. So, thank you.
Thank you. Jesse?
Yeah, so I think, just covering on weather here again, and just our discussion on Pepple, I mean, it does show the need that we have in several of our buildings that, we were not able to have class like we would have on the first couple of days because we have some inadequacies in our facilities that need to be improved. And we got, what are short-term strategies, long-term strategies to help improve those, but the additional funding through the Pepple would definitely support some of those needs for staff and students both. So as we get closer to this, I hope that the committee will support that need of our students, our staff, and other organizations that use our buildings. And, we have a lot of people use them on the off hours. And so, and then I would take this moment to officially announce I am planning to rerun for school board for this year. So if there's any question on that, but I am planning to file. So.
I just want to say I am as well. I was going to say, should I say it? So, yeah, I'm running for at-large as well again.
Yeah, I was going to say, announce your districts if you're running for.
District 3.
Okay. And India?
Yes, I just want to say thank you for WEA coming out and your team. It was great to see the faces to the names, and so that was very appreciative. And so when you send out the email, it will be great to see them and acknowledge them. So I appreciate that greatly. Thank you.
Aster?
Yep. Can you remember to put their titles on there as well when you send the email out? Oh wow. See? Awesome. That must mean we've been here too long. Just two things, and I know President Flynn will reiterate this as well. School board meetings are every second and fourth Monday of the month. Any concerns, questions, anything that you want to get in front of us, all our emails and phone numbers are listed. So make sure you take advantage of that. We would love to see you in person, second and fourth Mondays of the month. Also, the September 12th vote. I think Lau said it perfectly, probably better than any of us could, because I'm fairly still new to this. He's been through this before, the experience, but just the importance of that September 12th vote. He made a comment about the buildings that possibly could have been saved if the vote had went another way in previous years. So the importance of the upkeep in our facilities goes a long way, allows the district to maintain better facilities. We look around and we always talk about, I know in my district, just the buildings and what it looks like in other districts that seem to grow, and the beauty that you might see, as well as what we have as well. So let's be able to maintain the buildings that we have moving forward. So make sure you get out and vote September 12th for the Pepple.
Thank you, Esther. Lyle?
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on the Pepple thing. It is very important, and will save money in the long run. Earlier, I used the term "a stitch in time saves nine." I'm not sure that's self-explanatory anymore. It used to be, but hopefully.
Us old people get that, Lyle.
Yeah, people understand that. The other thing is, I think our relationship with the WEA is probably better than it's ever been before, so thank you, Jody and that whole crew, and Jared and your administration. That's really good to see. I attended the West Fall Sports kickoff and then the East-West game. Really wonderful events, well orchestrated. The one, well, many actually, comments I had, it was about the sound system and the scoreboards, video not working correctly. So rest assured, there's been discussion on that, and there will be more. And we want to bring that up to a standard where we optimize the experience whenever the public comes to one of our events. Well, yeah. And lastly, I filed papers today for reelection.
How many years, Lyle?
30, yeah. I did. 30. Almost. Even.
I thought it was more than that. 30?
No. 6 3-year terms. That used to be 18, and 3 4-year terms. That used to be 12. That's
New math makes it 40.
that's 30, and I am for term limits 10.
Nice. Well, that is exciting, Lyle. That's exciting. I'm back to Astor because he forgot something.
I missed last board meeting, had to go see my daughter, but I had an opportunity to attend Waterloo Coaches Academy a few weeks back. And Mr. Jeb Smith, the athletic trainer at UNI, was a keynote, and Mr. Robert Smith from UNIQ were keynote speakers. I didn't get a count. I want to say close to 50 coaches were in the building. It was awesome. Our own Pam was there. I always, anytime I get an opportunity, I hadn't been in a couple of years, but just having that opportunity to hear those gentlemen speak and what they were able to pour into the coaches in the district. I'm a coach by heart, so it kind of hits me a little different. So I really enjoy being able to see that and just seeing the coaches in the district get together and learn some new information from others to take back to their respective programs. So I just wanted to mention that.
Oh, thank you. Okay, and I'm going to turn it to Pam for a second because she has some comments tonight.
Such a great segue. Such a great segue. So yes, I did start coaching. This morning was my first practice. So just want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity. I will be missing the next 2 board meetings, so I do have Monday night games. So just thank you for giving me this opportunity because it truly does fill a bucket for me. So appreciate that. And then I also just wanted to say thank you for extending the contract for Dr. Smith. He's been an absolute joy to work with, and just appreciate his leadership style. So it's been awesome.
Okay, last but not least, I have not decided yet if I am running, so I will put that one out there right now. I know lots of people are anxiously awaiting this decision, but just wanted to state that. Also, we got an enrollment update. Sheena's department provided us with a great enrollment update today, and as of today, as of 8/29, which changes daily, but we were at 10,724 students. So that is exciting news with some, questions and concerns about potential open enrollments out. And so last year, just in reference, our K-12 certified enrollment was just over 10,000. It was 10,006 students. So right now, we're at 10,724. Now, this is a moving target. It won't be official until count day, which is believe October is the actual official count day. But so awesome job to everyone for getting and keeping these students here. It's wonderful, and I think it's a great choice and a great decision to choose Waterloo, because it's a excellent district and an excellent administration. And then also I was out at Cunningham for their first day, and that's always a joy to me to go out to the first day at Cunningham, and it's just fun to watch the first time pre-K and kindergarten. Some were so, come on, let's do it, and some were so shy. And it's just how they all come, and we work with them all, whomever they are, and they become awesome individuals with our great staff. So I just wanted to give a shout out to, I was at Cunningham, of course, so. And lastly, our next board meeting, as Astor stated, is September 11th, so a 9/11, and then the PEPAL vote will be the next day. So just think what I've been thinking in my head, 67 cents. I can't even buy a candy bar for that, but I can affect change on a lot of people. So use that 67 cents wisely. Okay, with that, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Oh, second. India, and all in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. We are adjourned. Thank you.
If anyone wants to sign my nomination form, I have it.